That's what Tweety Bird always said. If you can't beat them, join them. Well, if we can beat them, they're going to have to back off. And believing we can expose these people is half the battle. Believing you can win. Or as G.I. Joe says, knowing is half the battle. I believe taking action is half the battle. Resistance is victory. Matt in Illinois, you're on the air with Jesse Ventura. Go ahead, Matt.
Hello, Mr. Ventura.
Hi, Matt. How you doing?
Oh, pretty good. I wanted to know, I don't have a TV. I gave up watching TV a long, long time ago because I didn't like being treated like I was stupid. And it sounds like you've got a really good show, and I'd like to know if there's any plans to put it on the web or somehow that I'll be able to watch it without having to.
I don't know at this time, but then again, I'm not a good web person to talk to, but I certainly will inquire to find out what the options are about doing it over the web or whatever. I don't know. But at this time, the only thing I know is we're going to be on TruTV starting December 2nd.
Yeah, Matt, thanks for the call. I'll tell you this. Time Warner is putting a lot of their stuff on YouTube now. Most TV shows are there after the series runs. Then it's up there with commercials on YouTube. I would imagine this is made for the Internet. I would imagine you're going to be able to see it officially on the Internet after it airs on TV. Go to a neighbor's house and watch it. The mind control box. But we're going to use the mind control box to deprogram people. Mary Ann in Iowa, you're on the air with Governor Jesse Ventura. Go ahead.
Hi, it's a pleasure. I just want to say I hope this wakes up the American people, and I praise you for doing that. I wanted to answer a quick question, then make a quick comment. Representative Mike Pence from Indiana, Republican, the other day I was watching the health voting on C-SPAN, and he said, and I wrote it down because I was freaked out by it, he said, it seems a few elite in a far distant country can run our lives for us. And immediately I thought of Bilderberger and all that, and I was going to ask you, which I think you've already answered, were you going to do a show on the Bilderbergers and the secret societies? You didn't answer that.
Well, hold on. You mean Senator DeMint admitted that foreign bankers run our country? I mean, that's amazing.
His quote, and I wrote it down, it seems a few elite in a far distant country can run our lives for us.
Okay, let's get Jesse's take on that.
Well, there's certainly that possibility, and yes, we definitely do a show on the Bilderbergers, which I was happily I knew of them, but I didn't know as much about them. And here's the interesting little sidebar for it. We had
Governor, you still there? See that? I know that sound. That's us. That wasn't Ron Paul the other day. Okay? That's our phone system. I want that on record. Tell you, it's like living in a clown house or something. Just call him back and let him finish his point. It's always when I got huge guests on too. You know, Ron Paul, Jesse Ventura, and the standard operating procedure. Hell, I can call him on my cell phone, get him on that way. We've got General Stubblebine coming up with Dr. Rima Laibow, part 2 of the interview we started last week. And I do have a lot of other news that we're going to be covering as well. But hey, it's the miracle of technology, ladies and gentlemen. We're 50 years ago, 60, 70, 80 years ago, you couldn't even do stuff like this. And it's kind of the hallmark of this show now. That's what we do. It's how we do it. Okay, Governor, got you cut off there when you were going to add a point about Bilderberg. Go ahead.
It was either that, Alex, or they're cutting us off now. They're on to us. No, what I was going to add was that just a simple sidelight to the show, and then I got to run, is that we were interviewing a gentleman on the Bilderberg episode, and he had to travel from Europe to do the interview with me in New York, and we had to delay it a day because when he went to the airport, he was on the no-fly list. Now, this person's not a terrorist. Why would he be on the no-fly list, and who has the power to do that?
Well, that happens to even congressmen now. If they get crosswise and you're not charged, there's no judge, there's no jury, And now they're saying if you have bad credit, you'll be on the no-fly list. Or if you're on the no-fly list, you won't be able to buy a gun. So you're not convicted of a felony or a misdemeanor or a parking ticket, Governor, but then you lose your rights. Isn't that 180 degrees the opposite from our republic form of government?
I would like to think so, and you know, and as I said earlier, Alex, it's just the case of you know, the big brother, and in this case, it was dealing with the Bilderbergs that we had this particular guy we were going to interview, and he was coming from a foreign country to here, and he was on the no-fly list over there, and to my knowledge, he's not a terrorist, so. You know, it's interesting that how they'll disrupt people's lives by putting them on this no-fly list if you simply have out of, say, a different political persuasion or whatever it might be.
Well, Governor, you've got to get to a meeting in downtown Minneapolis, so we've only got 4 more minutes left with you. Let's take 2 final calls quickly. Gary in Washington and Mark in Minnesota. Gary, you're on the air with Jesse Ventura.
Honor to be here with you. I have a very important piece of information for the governor, and I have a big question for both of you. First piece of information, Shake Maps is a product of U.S. Geological Survey Earthquake Hazards Program. If you look at the Shake Map in Sichuan, when the earthquake happened with a rainbow over China on May 20th, 2008, the Shake Map is the exact same shape as the HARP weapon. That's point number 1, and then we'll get to point number 2.
Okay, what's your final point? Because we got to go here in a minute.
Okay, so check out the Shake Maps. Final point, there's too much fragmentation on the info war. Prison Planet, Birthers, Oath Keepers, 9/11 Truth, Audit the Fed, LP, Gun Owners, Skywatch. I would recommend both of you join and help create a constitutional defense fund. Alex and
Sir, we can't do it all. Hold on a minute. People act like Jesse Ventura or Alex Jones or Ron Paul have magical powers. We put our pants on one leg at a time, too. Freedom is fractured. It's good that we're not all unified because that makes us hard to stop. Governor, your comment on that.
Well, and the other thing is, too, is that how do you do it? It's like when I was the third-party candidate in Minnesota, I tried to bring all the third parties together so we could consolidate and become a force against the other 2 parties. I got news for you. It's like herding cats.
Infighting.
And I couldn't even bring them together on an issue that we all agreed upon, and that was campaign finance. None of us took dirty money. And it just fractured like nothing. And so I just threw my hands up in the air, and I said it may be impossible.
Yeah.
I think Alex makes a great point that they can't stop us all if we're all coming at them from different directions.
Yeah, it's a spirit of liberty. Shrink government, bring accountability. Final call for Governor Jesse Ventura from his home state, Minnesota. Mark, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Hi, you can hear me?
Yes, I can. Go ahead.
Hi, Mark.
Hi, I voted for you, Jesse. I appreciate both of you guys' work. And quickly, a couple questions about, I can't wait for your show to come out. I'll look forward to watching that, and I'll tell people about it, my friends and whatnot. A couple ideas for the show. Maybe you could look into the patent issue where individuals developing free energy and anti-gravity technology that the government then deems it a national security risk.
You know, Jesse, that's a great idea if it gets picked up for another season, is look at cold fusion.
Is, and we'll take that under consideration, but we got to get picked up first. We only did 7 for right now.
Yeah, we got to cross that bridge before we have to come to that bridge before we cross it. Anything else, Mark?
Yeah, one last thing. I saw an article in WorldNet Daily about data centers being set up by the NSA and Homeland Security Department, and I'm very concerned about that. They collect all our information, all communications, and store it. And it's just another incremental loss of liberty.
Watch my show on his Big Brother watching and all that, and you'll learn how they get away with it and how they loot the Constitution to do it.
Thank you so much, Mark. Okay, we got a minute and a half left. Governor, I'm going to say bye to you when we go to break, so just hold one moment. But I wanted to say in closing, it's been great working with you. I hope the show airs. Looks like it is. They've started promoting it. They're unleashing you to promote it, so I think that's the green light. But as you said, we won't believe it airs until we see it go on December 2nd on TruTV, so spread the word. But did you ever think, because I know all about this stuff, and I still can't believe it. I'm still flabbergasted. I am psychologically speechless a lot of times. I can still babble some words out, but it's hard to articulate. The NSA says they're taking over the whole Internet. They may shut it down during crises like bird flu or swine flu. The NSA is going to intercept all Internet traffic They're building NSA centers in San Antonio and New York and Florida and Minnesota and California, and just admitting they're reading everything we're doing. So they go from we're not spying on Al-Qaeda to we are spying on Al-Qaeda to we're spying on you and we don't need no stinking warrants. Did you ever think that would happen?
Well, it will happen because, yeah, I can believe it happening, Alex, because of apathetic people out there. People cannot be apathetic any longer. You can't sit on your hands anymore. You can't sit back and have government tell you they're going to protect you, but in lieu of that protection, you're going to give up your freedoms. You are better off to be in danger from terrorists than you are to lose your freedoms. Don't let them take your freedoms, and always remember, dissension is the greatest form of patriotism.
Governor Jesse Ventura, amazing having you on. That's a great way to end it.
We're on the